All right, welcome back to my channel, Plenty of Goodness. We are on for another week of meal prep, plant-based, gluten-free. If you are new to my channel, please give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe for future videos for weekly delicious plant-based, gluten-free meal preps. So I'm back on track for this week, you guys. Last week was a little bit of crazy with work schedule. It's still kind of crazy, but not as crazy as last week. Today we're going to do an earthy Buddha bowl. I actually shopped at a different grocery store this time. I shopped at Vaughn's here in California instead of Sprouts. So I just, try to see what was more expensive, buying all organic stuff. So some of the stuff they were out of organic, but I'm gonna go with the spring mix, organic spring mix for our Buddha bowl. Is gonna be combined with beans, greens, and the salad mix. It's going to be really earthy and delicious. Got your edamame, frozen edamame. I couldn't find, it's very hard to find organic shelled soybeans. And then we're going to go with your frozen broccoli, your white button organic mushroom, and this Buddha bowl is actually called for tahini dressing with lemon. But these are the two dressings that I just had in my fridge left over from weeks ago, and I don't want them to go to waste or forget about them. So I just figured, 2 meals I can have the honey Dijon, and then two meals I can have the olive oil and balsamic dressing. It's still gonna taste good, but you don't have to use the dressing that I picked. You can do the tahini dressing. So that's really what it's supposed to go with. But a little concoction never hurt anybody. And then we're going to do some lemon. They didn't have organic garbanzo beans, but this is the brand I got, SW garbanzo beans. I'm going to do 2 cans of that and 2 cans of the black beans. And then I'm going to do turmeric, black pepper, and salt, pink salt for our spices. So the only thing we have to do, you guys, is cook. I was actually going to leave the mushrooms raw just to kind of give it a more earthy flavor. But after doing research, it turns out that eating raw mushrooms can be a little bit more harmful, have more carcinogens in them than eating them cooked. So once you cook the mushrooms, it increases the polyphenols and increases the antioxidants and cancer-fighting agents. So I'm going to cook that along with the broccoli. All right, let's get started with the veggies. Okay, you're going to add 1/4 cup of water, bring it to a boil in the saucepan, add the broccoli, and then reduce the heat on medium. And then you're going to cover and cook for about 4 to 5 minutes. And then once it's almost done cooking, then you're going to add the mushrooms, cook for another couple minutes on medium heat. You don't have to cover the pan. And at this point, I'm going to add the spices, the salt, the pepper, and the turmeric. So I'm going to do that and then cook for a couple minutes, set this aside, and then we're going to cook the edamame next. So next we're going to cook the edamame. It says bring 6 cups of water to a boil, but I just really use 2 cups of water, boil it, and then add the edamame. And then we're going to cook it uncovered. Once it comes to a boil again, we're going to cook it for 4 to 5 minutes. And then we're going to drain, rinse in cold water to stop the cooking process. And then what I did was from the leftover water I had from the broccoli and mushroom, with all the spices, the turmeric, salt, and pepper, I just used the remaining water and did 2 cups of water for the boil. And we're going to transfer it to the jars. You can start layering the jars with the salad greens first. And then I rinsed the garbanzo beans and the black beans in cold water. And I just did a couple handfuls of the garbanzo beans, and I actually only used 1 can of the black beans, and I used 2 cans of the garbanzo beans. If you like it really beany, you can do that, but I feel like that's a lot already in there. And then with the dressing and the lemon, you don't want to incorporate it in the jars now because the salad will get wilty, and that won't be any fun. It won't be crunchy, so you can just add the dressing and the lemon when you're ready to eat your Buddha bowl. All right, so after you rinse the edamame in cold water, I just sprinkle a little pink salt in there for added flavor. Look how delicious that looks. Your earthy Buddha bowl is ready to eat. All you have to do is sprinkle some lemon and the dressing when you're ready to eat the jars. but it's really super packed with protein. You got your edamame, black beans, garbanzo beans, your antioxidants, antiviral, antifungal for the mushrooms, and your antioxidants from this spring salad mix. And you don't have to buy the big tub of the spring mix, you guys. I just did that because I'm going to use it for my smoothies in the morning as well, so I just figured it was better just to buy one big tub. But you can buy the 2 small 5-ounce spring mix at the grocery store, so you can do the 2 of the 5-ounce little tubs instead of the big tub. All right, this is going to be super delicious, very, very filling and satisfying, and it's nice to incorporate some raw greens in your diet once in a while. Okay guys, on to meal prep 2. Okay, this one is a super new recipe I haven't done yet, so bear with me. It's going to be really delicious. We're going to do a creamy spinach polenta. Polenta is going to be the foundation of the meal, and we're going to top it off with pine nuts. So we're going to mix a little bit of the vegetable broth and coconut milk to make the creaminess along with the nutritional yeast. And I went and got the organic baby spinach, the 5-ounce, a small tub of spinach. You can add a lot of spinach, and when it cooks, it just it shrinks. So when you add more, you can add more because it's always going to be, it just doesn't take up a lot of space, especially we're going to add it to the jars. So that's why I just got a 5-ounce. I'm going to put a lot of spinach in there, and I got 3 of the 18-ounce polenta, the Ancient Harvest brand, and this is good for creamy polenta especially. It's already cooked, so you can get the non-cooked one, but that takes longer to cook, and you have to boil it and then wait for it to harden, so it takes about 30 minutes. So this is already pre-cooked, a little cheat sheet in the pasta aisle. And then we're going to do a white organic onion. We're going to do double the mushrooms, 2 8-ounce of the crimini mushrooms. And then we're going to do the pine nuts. These are really high in fat and really high in calories, but a little bit of protein and really hardly any fiber, but they're really good for you. So we're going to use that. It's really hard to find organic pine nuts, so just do the best you can, whatever grocery store you go to. And then we're going to add a little bit of the Sadaf grilled eggplant. This is leftover, what I had in the fridge, and I want to use it up, so I figured why not add a little bit of grilled eggplant. That's going to taste really good in there. And then we're going to go with the minced garlic and nutritional yeast for the sauce. And I couldn't find organic tamari sauce. Everything was kind of ransacked at the grocery store, so just do the best you can. So that's the non-organic tamari sauce. We're gonna coconut unsweetened vanilla. You can do regular unsweetened, but they had very, very little options, either this or the vanilla one. So I just want the unsweetened vanilla, and we're gonna do the organic vegetable broth. So first thing we're gonna do is wash and cut the veggies. So first thing we're gonna do is cut and chop the onion to whatever desired size you want. I just did medium to fine, and then we're going to put the pan on high heat, add a little bit of vegan butter, and add the minced garlic. We're gonna cook for about a few minutes, and then we're going to add the mushrooms, cook those for a few minutes, and then we're going to add the spinach. After you're done cooking the onion, mushroom, and garlic, turn off the heat, and then you're going to add as much spinach as you want. I pretty much use almost all of the 5-ounce tub. There's a little bit of spinach left, but yeah, as you see, it doesn't look like a lot, but I almost use almost 5 ounces of that tub. So it's going to soak in the remainder juice, and then we're going to transfer it to the jars and then start the polenta. I added whatever was left over of the grilled eggplant, and after this we're going to transfer this to jars and then do the polenta. Okay, so next step you're going to do is cut open the packages of the polenta, and then you're going to put it on high heat and kind of squeeze and crumble up the polenta in your hands into the pan. I think it's a little bit easier instead of mashing up the fork. So we're going to create like mashed potato consistency, and then we're going to, after you break apart and get it to smash it pretty good in the pan, we're going to reduce the heat and then add 3/4 cup coconut milk, and then 1 1/4 cup of the vegetable broth. Mix it really well and almost like mashed potato consistency. And then we're gonna let it cook for a few minutes. Make sure mix it really well. And then after it cools down, we're gonna add nutritional yeast and then a little bit of soy sauce. Okay, last but not least, we're going to add the pine nuts. No oil, no butter, just while I just use on high, kind of shake them around in the pan, and then we're gonna transfer them to the jars. Okay, so last thing, you just add the pine nuts till they're golden brown, like that, and just disperse them evenly into the jars. And actually 1/4 cup of pine nuts is 200 calories and 21 grams of fat and 4 grams of protein. So they're gonna be really filling. And the polenta is actually a very southern style dish. It's very bland. And it's just pretty much cornmeal. So just dress it up. That's why you have to put a lot of spices and vegetables and dress it up as much as you can, because it's kind of like a blank slate when you cook it. So this dish is going to be very little sweet, little savory on the southern home cooking side, and it's going to be really, really like a grandma's type cooking home meal. But there you guys have it. Super high in protein. It's going to be really delicious. And we're going to be doing meal prep 3. So last meal prep is going to be kimchi fried rice. This is going to be new for me. I really am experimenting with kimchi. I don't really eat it. I know it's good for you. It's probiotics. It's fermented cabbage. And I chose to go with the mild. They only had one mild jar. Everything else was spicy, so I was gonna do more kimchi than less tofu, but I decided to do 1 can of the kimchi and 14 ounce of the tofu. So we're gonna do organic bok choy, some scallions or green onions, and then your brown basmati rice. I already cooked it. And then we're gonna do some minced organic garlic, your crimini mushrooms, and the tamari sauce. You can do rice wine vinegar. I just had this already in my cabinet, the white balsamic vinegar, so I'm going to use this. Organic toasted sesame oil, and pink salt, and some ginger. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the veggies. Or alkaline water, whichever you have. As long as you have reverse osmosis, that would be great. But right now I'm going to break it up in 2 cooking sessions, 2 cups of rice to 2 1/4 cup of water, and then 40 minutes for each batch. So I'm going to cook it for 40 minutes, and then I'm going to do another 2 cups of rice after that. Okay, so first thing you want to do is cut the kimchi a few times just to kind of break it up and then set aside. And then the first thing we're going to do, and I actually cut all the rest of the veggies, so the scallions or the green onion, and then the bok choy, and I drained and rinsed the tofu in cold water, and then I pressed it with paper towels to kind of drain the excess water out of there. And then I also rinsed the mushrooms as well. So the first thing we're going to do, you guys, is get a pan and heat up the scallions or the green onions. Add a little bit of toasted sesame oil to the pan on high heat. You're going to add the green onions, cook for about 2 to 3 minutes so they get a little tender. And then you're going to crumple in the tofu, and then we're going to cook for another 2 to 3 minutes on medium to high heat. And then we're going to add the garlic and the ginger. Okay, next up, we're going to add the bok choy and the mushrooms. Then we're going to cook for another 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to add the kimchi and the tamari sauce, and then we're gonna just heat that thoroughly, and then we're gonna add the rice very last. And after the rice, we're going to add the vinegar and maybe a little bit more tamari sauce. Okay, so I added the kimchi and then added some tamari sauce. Add however much you like. I like mine a little bit on the saltier side, so it's totally up to you. And then after that's heated through, then the last thing I did was I heated the rice. I put in the rice, and then we're going to add a little bit of the balsamic vinegar add however much you like and season to taste. If you need more of tamari or more of the vinegar, you can do that as well. Just taste as you go along. And then after this cools down, well, actually before you put the rice in the pot, make sure it cools down from the rice cooker before you put it in the pot, in the pan. And then after this cools down, we're going to transfer everything to the jars. Alright, so there you have your kimchi fried rice, you guys. Look how awesome that looks. You have, it's not as savory as the polenta meal, but it's definitely a little bit different. It will kind of shock your taste buds, your palate. Kimchi has a little bit of tartness from the fermented cabbage, but you have some substance from the brown rice and the protein from the tofu, and you have a little crunch of the green onion and the bok choy and of the cabbage. So let me know how you guys like this dish, and you could actually, if you want to spice it up, you can do the spicy kimchi, but I chose the mild one. That's personal preference. So let me know what meal is your favorite for this week. Yum! Alright, so congratulations, you finished another week of homemade meal prep. And remember, you guys, the 12 jars is for 6 days a week. So you should be, if you are a breakfast person, you should be eating breakfast. I do a smoothie every morning for breakfast, a power smoothie after my post-workout, or you could do an apple and peanut butter, or a banana and peanut butter, or peanut butter toast. Something to eat for breakfast would be substantial, and these jars are for lunch and for dinner. So you're gonna have 2 jars a day. So you can rotate between the 3 meals. So you're gonna have 12 mason jar per week. So for the 6 days, and the 7th day you can meal plan or meal prep and grocery shop on the 7th day. That's at least what I do. I've got it down to a science now, but if you're not comfortable with that yet, you can also just start with half of the week and just do 6 meals instead of 12. And choose 6 meals, and you can rotate that way until you get more comfortable and more familiar with cooking and a little bit of guidance, so you can work up to your 12 jars. But look how awesome that looks. So you have your plant diversity, which is really important for your diet, you guys. Rainbows of color. We're looking at rainbows of color and plant diversity. So the more plants and the different kind of plants and different fruits and vegetables you can incorporate in your diet, the better your gut biome and the better your gut health. The better your gut health will be for your overall body and your overall performance. So let me know what meal you like the best and which one was the most challenging in the comments below. And I also will write down the ingredients in the comments below, and also the cooking instructions in case you missed anything. Until next week, you guys, stay motivated and keep prepping and stay motivated. And we'll see you later. Okay, bye.